It's not therapy you need, it's discipline, responsibility, and a little bit more self-awareness. Today is Monday, November 25th. Got 25 miles to run today. I'm about 15 miles in. Just got done running with Kellen. He hopped out for 5 miles, him, Lynam, and Mila. It's 2 dogs. And yeah, I'm taking a piss on this tree right now. It's cold. It's a cold one today. It's about 30 degrees. And I was talking to Kellen about how I can't imagine there being a 60-degree swing in temperature going to minus 30. And in a few short weeks, this rushing river is gonna turn to ice. The Minnehaha Creek. So it's not even a river. But this is the time of year when my face gets frozen, my body gets frozen and tightened up, and it gets more difficult to be outside for long periods of time, but I do it anyway because that's what it's about. And hey, I'm happy that I spent last year outside all the way through. I'm gonna be grateful that I do it again this year, and even more so because there's some real intention behind the training of being outside, even if it's just for 6 hours, because I'll be outside for my Arrowhead race, which is on January 27th, just a few short months away. 2 months from tomorrow. I'll be outside for 34 to 38 hours. That's what my ballpark estimate time that I'm hoping for. I really think 34 hours is doable based off the previous runs that I've done, the experience that I've had doing it. Yeah, let's get into the thought of the day. So clearly this is an unpopular opinion, but I believe there are too many people in therapy nowadays. There are too many people that are using therapy as a crutch to either gain social points or avoid actually doing the work to help themselves to begin with. I have seen this firsthand. I work for a dating show called the Date Night Podcast, and I see it all the time where people come up and they say they go to therapy knowing that it gets the crowd to be on their side. They get the claps, they get the women to say, oh, we love a man in therapy. It becomes this social status point for people to use to then leverage in whatever situation. I'm not saying all people, but I've seen it enough to notice that it's becoming a trend. And look, if you're in therapy and it's working for you, that's great. I'm happy for you. You should keep going. And this message isn't for you. But when people sit there and they talk about how their life is a mess and they just need to go to therapy, or they're in therapy and their life is still a mess, they're not getting a full night's sleep, they're staying up way too late, they're on social media all the time, they're using nicotine or tobacco products, they're binge drinking, they're eating unhealthy foods. All of these things we know scientifically lead to a more anxious, stressed, unhealthy mind, body, and spirit life. One of the ways in which that I have grown is by having something that holds me accountable, that I need to stay disciplined to, that I have to do no matter how I feel. I think what we're told today is to understand how we're feeling, but what we're not told is that sometimes how we're feeling is not the truth. Sometimes our first thoughts, our first emotions are not the truth. And for anybody who has a discipline, anybody that is disciplined in something that they're doing, you understand this. There are going to be days where you go out for a run and you don't want to. And then you go out for that run and you feel way better after. And there might be days where you still don't feel great after, but you're grateful that you went out anyway. There are very, 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 very few times that you ever go out when you felt like not going out and you don't come back feeling better. And when we're in emotional situations, our first reaction might not be the best way to react. And by having a discipline, having something that you are disciplined to, that you are responsible for, I'm responsible for myself out here. I'm responsible for my well-being. I'm responsible for making sure that I eat right, that I sleep right. Because in order to do this discipline at the highest degree, or to even do it where I am injury-free, there's a little spit right there, a little rhyme for you, I need to be responsible for myself. I need to take care of myself. So those two things go hand in hand, and then there's this self-awareness piece that comes through journaling, that comes through thinking, that comes through walking and talking to a camera like this, where you begin to unravel characteristics about yourself that are healthy and unhealthy. And that is where you can learn to put those things in action. You can learn to change the things you don't like about yourself. Putting thought on paper has helped me to be able to learn exactly who I am. One thing that I've done on a number of occasions that I really enjoyed, and I haven't done in a while, I want to go back and do it, is I'll finish a journal, and then I'll spend the whole day reading through every single page of that journal. That was actually the thing that helped me to make the decision to break up with a girlfriend. It helped me understand the consistencies in my life, both the good and the bad, the healthy and the unhealthy. And it allowed me to just take a step back and say, okay, it doesn't matter how strongly I feel about something. Let's just look at the facts. Let's look at the evidence. And through journaling, it's putting that thought into concrete, into like something concrete, so you can go back and look at it and observe it from a place that is logical and thoughtful and less emotional. Those are three things where you can start to improve your life. And if you're not taking care of your sleep and your health and your mental well-being in other areas, then going to a therapist isn't going to solve that for you. You need to step up. You need to start taking some responsibility in your life. I need to do the same thing. I'm working on that right now. I'm working on that every day. That's it. That's all. Give it a try.